In today's breaking update, tensions around Donald Trump just hit a whole new level. A senior military attorney has stepped forward and publicly exposed Pete Hegseth, and Trump is reportedly furious about it. This is not the kind of week he wanted. One by one, people connected to Trump are getting called out, and the pressure is clearly starting to build. And it isn't just officials or insiders anymore. Even well-known actors are chiming in, adding their voices to the growing storm around him.
I would not mind doing a send-up of Trump. I think he's a wonderful object of satire. In fact, I've written satirical poetry books about the Trump and his entire crazy world from his first term. Things are getting so grave, it's getting harder and harder to make fun of the subject without feeling like you're normalizing it. I think it's time for the voice of J.B. Pritzker rather than
Governor of
Lithgow.
Illinois.
Yep. Yeah.
He's your best. Yeah.
He suddenly emerged, literally in the last 3 days, as a full-throated, resonant voice, equally angry at Republicans and Democrats. Angry at Democrats because they're not fighting hard enough. And I think he's suddenly my hero.
How worried are you about where America is right now?
I'm very worried about America. I think it's a critical moment for democracy on the most basic level.
And honestly, it isn't hard to see why Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, and so many people tied to his administration have become so widely disliked. For years now, critics have said the same thing. With the Trump team, cruelty never feels like an accident. It feels like the whole point. Their decisions, their rhetoric, the way they treat people, it all adds up, and folks are finally speaking out loud about it.
Well, after being deported last week, a young mother says she is back in Honduras without her 8-month-old son. Kimberlyn Yaritza Menuvar Aguilar lived in St. Cloud with her partner. They moved to South Dakota shortly before having a child in March. New at 5, Frankie McLister shares why her attorney says she was removed from the U.S. unlawfully.
Y ahí estaba mi pareja y mi bebé. Y entonces ellos me vieron cuando me llevaron.
In a Zoom conversation from her parents' house in Honduras, Kimberlyn Yaritza Menjivar Aguilar gets emotional when saying, "And there was my partner and baby."
¿Ese es tu bebé? Me dijo. Y yo le dije, sí. Y ella me preguntó, ¿estás amamantando? Y yo le dije, no, le dije yo.
The 22-year-old telling us about the moment she was detained at a September fingerprinting appointment for an approved work permit. Kimberlyn says federal agents asked if the baby was hers and if she was breastfeeding, responding yes, it's hers, and no, she wasn't breastfeeding.
Me arrestaron.
They arrested me in handcuffs behind my back, she said, and her lawyer adds,
she signed something that they told her was, if you are removed, you could take your baby with you, and she signed that document, but at the end, she was removed without her baby.
Menjivar Aguilar explains her 2-week journey to the U.S. when she was 17, crossing the Rio Grande with her younger brother, all to escape a gang who was trying to recruit them and to be with their dad who was here. He's since been deported too.
What was that like?
Saying goodbye to my mom and my family, she says. In a statement, the Assistant Secretary for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security says Menjivar Aguilar was an illegal alien from Honduras. She illegally entered the U.S. on April 13, 2021, near Eagle Pass, Texas. The statement adds that she received full due process and was ordered removed by an immigration judge on October 12, 2022. This administration is not going to ignore the rule of law. Her lawyer confirms that she had that outstanding order of removal from 2022 after missing a court date, which Menjivar Aguilar says she didn't know about as her father handled her documents and mail.
After that removal order happened, she was given deferred action, which is literally, we're not going to deport you. And it's discretionary. It can be revoked, but it wasn't revoked.
All I want is to be with my family, my baby and my partner, she says.
But now things have escalated even further. Donald Trump is fuming after top military attorney John Kerry publicly called out Pete Hegseth. And trust me, the fallout is already starting. Take a look.
Singling out at people and suggesting you're going to bring them back and put them into service again for the sole purpose of then trying them or court-martialing them. I think it's un-American. I think it is not in keeping with the spirit with which American citizens join the military and go in and serve their country, and such a distinguished career from so many of these folks. And then you turn around and start threatening them with court-martial and with death for sedition that, it's just, it's really hard to watch, and it's very sad for our country, and I think for the military to have this kind of dissension in leadership. And it's quite extraordinary to have a Secretary of Defense whose service is not that long and strong.
Major Hegseth you're talking about.
I'm just talking about not having somebody there, and all of a sudden you're concerned about people who are fat, and you're addressing people who fought for their country, who've served, unbelievably high qualified service with 4 stars on their shoulders. There's something really disturbing about that. And my hope is that that'll stop, or that maybe the commander-in-chief will join in and set an example.
Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay aware, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.